Hello and welcome to another lesson on data. Today we're going to be talking about probability. So we have here our coin. On this coin we have two parts. We have a head, H for head, and we have a T, T for tail. Now we cannot see the T behind this coin. It's because for every European country, each coin that comes from that country has a different tail or a different image on the back. If you want to look at the Irish coin, if you want to know if your coin is Irish, you will see a beautiful harp on the back of the coin. Now that's not a beautiful picture of a harp, but you get what I mean. We're going to play a game of toss the coin. And usually when we play a game like rock, paper, scissors, we always do best out of three. So we're just going to play heads or tails. And we're going to figure out how we can get the best out of three. Now to win this game, to win heads or tails, you have to get a head or a tail, whichever one you're looking for, twice at least. So we're going to work this time on heads. So I've chosen head, and the other person chooses T. So this is a two-player game. And you've often seen this done before a soccer game or Gaelic football game or any type of team game where a team wants to choose one end of the pitch. Now again, the wind could be blowing in this direction, the sun could be shining here, and when the sun is shining, if you have a striker here, he may not be able to see the goals, and therefore when two teams are coming up head to head, the referee takes out a coin and he or she says, okay, I'm going to flip this coin, choose heads or tails. One team will choose heads and one team will choose tails. And whoever wins the coin toss gets to choose what direction they want to score in and where they want to keep their goalkeeper. Okay, without further ado, we're going to talk about our coin toss game and how we need to get at least two heads. Best out of three, we're going to have three flips. So there's going to be three rounds. So we're going to have round one, round two, and round three, because we're going to have to find the best out of three. Say we get heads three times. We say heads, heads, heads. We could get heads, heads, tails. We could also get heads, tails, heads. And we could get tails, heads, heads. From there, we're going to say tails, tails, tails. We're going to move the rest of it over here. We're going to say tails, tails, heads. We're going to say tails, heads, tails. And we're going to come back to heads, tails, tails. Now, we're going to count each possibility. So again, I'm going to say if we throw our coin, maybe this person throws the coin and it lands on the ground and they get a head, there's a chance that they could get head three times and this person will get 3 out of 3. This person will get 0 out of 3 because this person has chosen tails. However, there's also a chance that we could get 3 out of 3 if it lands on a tails and 0 out of 3 for this person who's chosen heads. So there's different scenarios. So we're going to figure out what's the chances of our coin landing on heads twice. So let's do that now. So we have it at least twice here. Okay, it's actually 3 times, but it is at least twice. We have another scenario, heads, heads, tails. We have heads, tails, heads, tails, heads, heads. We don't have any heads here at all. We have tails, tails, heads. We've only one. Tails, heads, tails. Okay, we've only one again. And we have heads, tails, tails. So going through this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 chances for us to get 2 out of 3 and win the game if we've chosen heads. Let's separate these rounds, these scenarios, into fractions. So we're going to say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 scenarios. So we're going to write down 8 scenarios. Now scenarios is the possible probability of the following heads or tails scenarios. So the possible outcomes, okay, over, and we're going to put over 1, 2, 3, 4 scenarios. So we have 4 scenarios where we could get over 2 heads and win this game if we choose heads. Another way to say that is 1 over 2 by dividing 4 into 4 and 4 into 8. So if we choose heads, basically it proves we have half a chance of winning this game. The same can be said for tails. It's the same thing. And that makes a lot of sense. That's why when we come to a soccer game or we go to a rugby game, Gaelic football game, any sort of game, the referee will ask the 2 captains, in most cases, captain 1 and captain 2 of each team, to choose either heads or tails. And the reason we do this is because it's a fair game. There's a 50% chance. Okay, we're going to have a look at another probability. And in this scenario, we want to find out what's the chances of only landing one tail in a game of heads or tails. So again, let's go through the different scenarios. So we can have heads, 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 tails for round 3. We can have heads, tails, heads, and we can have tails, heads, heads. We could also have tails, 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 heads, tails, heads, tails, and heads, tails, tails. Let's count all the scenarios so we know it's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So again, we're going to write 8 here, and we're going to figure out of all the possible outcomes, what's the chances of me, say for example I'm playing this on my own, landing only one tail. So we have this outcome, we can only land one tail. We have 2, 3 outcomes. We have 3 tails here, so we're not going to count that. 2 tails here, 2 tails here, and 2 tails here. So our answer is 3 out of 8. To finish this off, I'd like you to figure out how many times we can only land all heads or all tails, and figure out what fraction that equals, with our chances on top and the possible outcomes on the bottom. Well done, keep up the great work, and I hope that made sense. This can also be applied to so many other games. Dominoes, card games, and other chance games. However, something nice to end on. If we play sport, or chess, or any other type of game where we're competing, the probability is always in your hands. In other words, it's the choices we make in the sport, in the board game, or in any game that we play that determine if we win, lose, or draw.